let's play conspiratorial theory about that, shall we? So the people behind it, you're being told by a large conservative media organisation that this is the line you need to take. The government would benefit. Big Pharma would benefit. Is there a collusion?
Well, I mean, it's not a conspiracy theory that the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation have given a lot of money to the Telegraph, to a specific section.
Well, several million pounds, wasn't it?
I think it was about £6 million, if I remember. I think to their sort of health and science department, which obviously filled most of the paper during those years anyway. And look, newspapers, since I started in 2011 at the Telegraph, they've been really struggling with how to make money, and they tried all kinds of different things with models of getting people to subscribe online and splitting the paper up and trying to be like BuzzFeed and then trying to be not like BuzzFeed. And, you know, my desk used to be next to when I was in the offices, next to the meeting room, and I would listen. At one point they got all these Americans in to try and turn it around, and it was hilarious, some of the things they were talking about. They were in a real crisis. So when this came along, every newspaper was desperate for any kind of revenue. So obviously, or anything like that, somebody like Bill Gates comes along and says, "Oh, I'll give you £6 million if you tell everybody my vaccines are great," you know, they're going to take it. The government were giving them millions in advertising revenue for running all their warnings about stay at home and having a cup of coffee will kill somebody, and download the NHS app. And
at a time when other forms of advertising revenue are drying up.
They're all dried up. Obviously, all of their holiday stuff isn't coming in. So that's one side of it. I don't understand exactly who the orders were coming from. I mean, I have it on good authority that the owners of the paper were not necessarily against our side of the argument. I don't think they were interfering.
This is the Barclay brothers.
I think probably they largely agreed with me and what I was saying. So
who approached you to... I mean, you found yourself in hot water for the stance you were taking once the vaccine started to come out. Is that correct?
Yes. I received more warnings once we got to that point.
Right.
And it wasn't really about my cartoons, though. Because obviously, when I'm working at the paper, every cartoon I do has to be approved anyway. They don't just publish whatever I draw. At the end of the day, I've got to submit a sketch and negotiate. But it was my Twitter output and the fact that obviously I had started putting out my own work outside of what I was doing for the paper by that point. Because sometimes I felt so passionately about this, and I would be so frustrated when they would reject something. I'd just do it on my day off and put it online. And I started to notice they were more popular than what I was doing for the paper, but we can come back to that. So it was my social media output generally, and I was warned about toning it down and not putting so much on social media. And I was told by one of my editors, "Look, you've done so much great work on lockdowns, it would be a shame if you threw it all away by being labelled an anti-vaxxer." That was his exact words. And then I was told, "We will not, as a newspaper, ever publish anything against vaccines. We won't do it." And I said, "But this is a completely new vaccine. I mean, you filled the paper with articles about how different it is to anything else. And isn't that great? Maybe it is great, but we have no idea what's going to happen." And I said to him, "What if it's a disaster? What if it doesn't work and injures people?" And he just said, "That won't happen because vaccines are safe and wonderful."